Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or yes there, just to let me know that it's working. Hope everybody's having a pretty awesome morning. Hopefully your weekend was awesome. I'm looking forward to trading today. Happy Halloween. Um, so let's see if we can make some money today and get this done. Before we get started, as always, let's go over to our disclaimer. There are risks involved in the market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade and how big your lot size is, and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. Okay, guys, so we got some trades lining up. I actually just bought the euro pound, but before, just letting you know, gee whiz, but there's not really any news today. It's just Monday, Halloween, not a lot of economic news today. So I felt comfortable pretty much going with any option. You can see there's no news on Sunday either. So all three of our main signal trades are on the table. Those being let me show you this over here. Those being the euro franc, euro pound, and pound franc. You could short the pound franc. That is an option right now. Absolutely, you could short the pound franc. I have selected the euro pound. I like the way it's moving a little more. It's a little bit more congruent with the trend line or the current trend to buy here. It hit this low, this broke the lower Bollinger Band just barely. This is the trade I'm going with, and I'm very excited about it. So euro pound it is today, if you guys are wondering. But there are a couple of other options if you want to go with that. So but yes, so that's where we're at right now. I've got a couple of other people that wanted to show up to the webinar, so I'm just gonna text them. I think they don't have the link, so I think we've covered the most basic and necessary right now. So go ahead and hop in a euro pound long if you haven't already. But I'm just gonna text this out to the group 1 second. There we go. All right, so far so good, right? I'm excited about this. We have to target on this trade at least to the mid Bollinger Band. That's how it works in the hour, right? So we can go all the way to there, essentially would be the target. And then we'll leave a few trades to run, but it's a 9 pip gain. And it may not seem like a lot, but hey, it's a very probable setup, it's something we're definitely going to make some money on. So, that's all you really need. I like to switch down to a 1 minute chart after I've done my initial analysis. And I like to kind of watch these bars. Now, if this breaks lower, so far we're in the positive, but if this breaks lower, this will probably go, this is a huge support level right here, actually right here as well, and right here. So I would expect kind of in this area to see a pause if it needs to. And then, and actually right there too. So kind of in here, you could say this is a good support as well. And then down here, basically, those would be our levels of where the market could go before it pops up. This is 25 pips away. I really don't think that one's on the table, but all these other ones I could say definitely. So be ready for that. This pair doesn't move as much as some of the others, so that's why we may not make a bazillion dollars on this trade, but because of the smaller amount of pips involved. But I really like this pair for the banker's close, the euro pound. It's one of the best in my opinion. So, and for those that are just hopping on, we're in a long position on the euro pound. We're up 23 pips on it right now across several trades. We are targeting, this is basically our target right up here at 0.86089. That's kind of where we're looking to go. It's always at this point where I'm like, dang, I should have put more trades on, but you know, it's good. It's good. I mean, and already just like that, like just that small move, I'm already up $250 on this account. And that would, you know, it's on nearly been 10 minutes, not quite. Just awesome. Hey Jason, how's it going? Yeah, so like I was saying, you can trade right now. A really good banker's close is the euro pound long, and it's not necessarily too late. The you can see here the euro pound, the pound franc short is another good option right here. That one's we're you know kind of happening at the same time the euro pound is going in our direction, but and there may be multiple opportunities today to take trades, but for now, like I said, um, that euro pound is what I'm sticking with. And there is really no news today, which is a good thing. But at the same time, one of the side effects of not having news, as you guys know, is you're just not going to get a lot of volatility to get to your target very quickly. So it'll take more time. But for us, we're okay with taking more time and being more patient in the name of more probability, right? So when you have news, what happens is that news event can supersede any other phenomenon that takes place during the day. So if there's a phenomenon that takes place like what we know, you know, at the end of the trading day, you know, an hour before the London market closes, that phenomenon may not occur if there's some news that's causing it to behave a certain way. So so that's why I mean, it could, but like, you know, in my opinion, it's much better to avoid the news altogether just to have that more probability, to have that extra probability on your side. But so far, so good. We've had this month, we're at the last day of the month. I've only had one losing day with the banker's close. Um, that was Thursday the 13th. I lost, and it's kind of dumb because I felt like had I stuck around a little longer, would have been fine. Um, only losing day, so every day's been profitable. We've had days where we've gone through the webinar, and by the end of the webinar, we're not profitable. But if you wait in the trade later, if you hold that trade for the next, you know, 6-12 hours, then yes, you'll be profitable. So I better clarify that, you know, had you held the trade for that 6 to 12 hours, you'd be in a good spot. And now we just kind of wait, right? There's really nothing to do. I mean, I've already added to my position. I've already got the position I want. If it drops much lower, sure, I'll add to it again. But right now I've got a really good buy down here in this support area. There's a ton of support down here. So I feel really, really good where I'm at. Now it's just a matter of waiting to get the price we want. So it can take a little bit, but maybe while we're waiting, and we're in a good spot here, actually, let's go ahead and bring our targets in. So we know we want to close out through this alley area over here. This is where we want to take our money and enjoy the rest of our day, right? So let's go ahead and bring those in now. Yeah, basically right at the top of the hour, Jason, we got a signal alert. That is very common, to get a signal alert right at the top of the hour, or the bottom of the hour too. I've actually seen it at the bottom, but and I'll leave this one to right up here. Doesn't happen every day, but yes, it's very common. In fact, I'm going to show you, I was up late trading the Tokyo and Sydney closes last night, and right at 1 a.m. Eastern, an hour before the Sydney close, um, the Aussie Kiwi hit a low or a high. I can't remember. It was a peak. What, it hit the upper or lower Bollinger Band, which obviously is a signal. As long as you're an hour before that market close, it's a signal, right? So I'll show you that in just a moment. But yeah, we'll let this sit here for just a second. Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I can do, Jason, is I can probably send out in Telegram, I can text everybody just saying, hey, we just got into the euro pound, or hey, we just got into the, euro franc or pound franc or whichever one it is that day. Um, they do happen really fast. So, it is, if you can come to the webinar, that's ideal. That's where you're going to learn the most, and you're going to be able to catch the trade a lot better and faster if you're in the webinar. But I can definitely do something like that. It won't have all the details like the stop loss and take profit. I'll just say something like, hey, hey, looks like a buy on the euro pound looks good for the banker's close, or something like that. And then later I can give you more updates as things calm down, but the trade does happen quickly. So great. So this looks good. We're actually, let's see, look at the 5-minute Bollinger Band. This is how you determine your target, right? You want to close at the mid Bollinger Band. So that's, again, still right in this alleyway right here. That's where we're going to close most of our trades. So real quick, I just want to show you guys how I traded, for example, the Sydney close last night. If you are willing to stay up a little later, that's great. I guess if you live on the Pacific coast, it's even easier than it is for me, because that's going to be between 10 at night and 11 at night. You can trade the Sydney close. So Sydney started, let's see, I got to zoom over here. I gotta hurry because it looks like our trade may be setting up for a close here soon. It's getting closer. Okay, so Where is this? Yes, so right here. And actually, it'd be better on the 1 minute. Can I just do a 1 minute? Yeah, perfect. Okay, guys, I'm going to switch back over to that euro pound because we are getting, I'll come back and do this, but we are starting to get some significant moves. I'm just going to close out a single order. That's it. And then leave the rest because I do think there's still more to this rally. Yeah, kind of nice, right? Um, yeah, kind of crazy how just right at the banker's close hour, this happens right here. And then you just get your move. Again, I don't think it's done yet, so I'm still holding, but I mean, I closed a single order and I left the rest. Partly because I'm looking at the 5 minute chart. If you look over here on the 5, we still haven't hit that mid Bollinger Band. So that's why I'm still holding. Okay, well, it's just kind of close. That's why I don't want to get too far away from it, because the opportunity could come and go pretty quick. So maybe I'll show you guys what I was doing earlier for Sydney and Tokyo in just a moment, but we're kind of close to maybe hitting a target here. So just give me a second. In hindsight, I kind of wish I took the pound franc short instead of the euro pound long, just because that one already hit its target. If you look at it, if you look at the pound franc, it already went to the mid Bollinger Band, but that's fine. That's totally fine. Yes, so I'm on the 1 minute just because I like to see the candlestick movements, but you want to be aware of where the mid Bollinger Band is on a 5 minute. We actually didn't quite hit it. We got really close on that candlestick wick. So again, that's why I'm still holding. I'll probably bring some of these targets down just a little closer now that the mid Bollinger has come down just a little bit. But yes, might be a little bit of a battle to get there, but you know, it'll get there eventually this morning. So we have, if you look at the chart here, this is where the hour began. It's right here. That's kind of glitchy. And then this is where it's going to end. So per the rules of the banker's close, you're allowed to add to the position during this entire hour. Okay, so between here and here, you can add, you know, if we do get another low, we can continue to add to this trade. That's totally fine. During this hour. After this hour, we stop adding to the position, and then we just hang on to the targets essentially. Let's see. It may actually create another low here. We'll see. Um, let's see what it wants to do. Yeah, if this comes down and starts headed towards this support, yeah, I'll start adding to that. That actually might help us make a little more money today. It might take longer, but yeah, it might take longer, um, but it would probably expand the opportunity. The reason why it'd expand the opportunity is because um, you'll have more pips in between where the mid Bollinger Band is and where the market is. And so we kind of, so I kind of like it when it actually does. We've talked about this before, where you kind of get a sharp, move down like this, and then you pick up all these orders, and then you hit your mid Bollinger Band, and then you're done. So something like that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, most of my money's made on stuff like that. But it takes longer, right? The trade wouldn't happen very quickly. Um, that would be the only downside that I can think of. So again, if you have trades above this current price and not where the current market is, this is a great place to dollar cost average, right? So you want to add to the position slowly. Um, you want to have small enough positions that you have that gunpowder, that ability to add to the trade if needed. You might actually get another low here. This might be nice. Again, if we punch through this low, the next level is kind of where I drew this out. It's kind of our next level. I'm going to snag one more buy right there. I'm going to grab another little buy right there. Again, since my trades are pretty small, I can do this, right? If you've got one giant trade, you can't do this, right? If you got one giant trade, it's not the end of the world, but what you have to do is you just have to hold, you're that sniper guy, right? We talk about the two different types of traders. You're either a sniper or you're the machine gun. If you're the sniper, you have to be very accurate and precise on your trades, and your stop loss has to be extremely defined, and you take profit as well. And that's not necessarily a bad way to trade. In fact, it's a good way, but it in my mind too, it doesn't really create a lot of daily income for this particular strategy, because I told you earlier, like I've only had one losing day in the last month. I'm going to add another little trade there. But I only have one losing day in the last month. And the reason why I'm able to get away with that is because I have the flexibility to have gunpowder when I need it. I'm able to be nimble and add trades later and take away trades later, right? Kind of balance in, balance out. So you're more of a trader, more of a money manager at that point. I'm going to add another little trade there. Snag a couple over here too. Yeah, so you have that ability to kind of flex in, flex out. When you're more of a machine gun type of approach. And I have rules on this. So like I've up here, I have some rules written down. So like when I'm trading the euro pound, I have a max rule. This is on my other account, but I can trade up to 40 total trades. Like I have a lot of ammunition with this. I can trade up to 20 contracts, so that's $200 a pip. Up to that point, my starter trade needs to be 10 positions, so 10, and they're 10 trades at a half a contract a piece. And the reason why I do this is because I've gone back and back tested over time on the euro pound here. I've gone back over time to find out, how far does the euro pound go down or up in the banker's close hour? How far can I expect an expansionary move? What's that expectation? Since I'm aware of that, here I'm adding another little trade there. That went into helping me determine how big my lot size needs to be, how small it needs to be, how many total trades I can take, because I know I have an idea of how far this thing can move without news, right? So, I have that. I'm a little bit more aware that way, if that makes sense. Jason says, can you speak about your thought process of determining units, stop loss, and taking profit? Yeah, no, for sure. We can talk about that. So basically, when I'm trading this live, and we are kind of talking about that currently, right? I will trade because I just determined on my account, like, so this is on my other account over here. I will trade up to 40 total trades at a half a contract a piece, which is 50,000 units or $5 a pip. And 1 second, I'm going to add another trade there. And then let me add another trade over here. Yeah, so I'll trade up to up to 20 contracts. I'm just looking at the rules here that I've written down. And it's just a standard for me to use a half contract, which is 50,000 units. And again, it's $5 a pip. And since I'm willing to trade up to 40 of those, that's $200 a pip that I'm willing to lose. And I'm willing to lose up to 40 pips. So on these trades, I like to have a stop loss of 40 pips max. Now, when the market starts to go in our favor, we'll probably bring those to break even later today, or later or early this morning. Just depends on how quickly we can get our move that we want. Let's see what else I was going to say about that. So Jason, it does take a lot of practice and time to kind of figure out how many units you need to be trading with for you personally, right? And where your stop loss needs to be. Now, I've written down for each one when I'm trading. So like, for example, when I'm trading the euro pound or the euro franc, I have a 40 pip max stop loss. When it's the pound franc, because that has a higher ATR, my max stop loss on that one's 60 pips. But here's the difference. Because that one has a max stop loss of 60 pips, I have a max trade amount of 26 trades instead of 40 like I do with this guy. My starter position's only 7 trades on the pound franc, whereas on the euro franc and euro pound, it's 10, right? So you're constantly balancing those different things, right? Um, that's kind of the concept. Um, at night, the Sydney close is really underwhelming, but it's super probable. So I have to trade a much larger position during the Sydney close to be able to make some significant money with it. So with the Sydney close, I have a starter position of 16 trades, 16 trades at a half contract apiece. That's 800,000 units total across 16 trades. And yeah, it took me like an afternoon to figure this stuff out. Like I had to write down, I had to calculate my max loss and all those different things. I had to calculate all of that before I could comfortably do this and feel like I had an edge in the market. Basically, what it took for me, Jason, is I had to blow up an account or two to basically finally say, okay, I got to figure this out. I got to figure out how to manage this risk because yes, you can get burned pretty quick. And so I had to figure out, oh, how far does the euro pound go? How far does the pound franc go on average? And so that just took me back testing. I had to go back in time and find out, how far do these go during this banker close hour? During this banker's close hour, assuming there's no news. And anyway, so yeah, that's kind of that concept. But yeah, feel free to ask me more questions. I mean, I'm an open book. I can share with you guys what you want. I do have stop losses on these trades. They're pretty far away right now because I'm actively managing the trade, but they are there. When we wrap up the class in about 30 minutes, you'll see me bring these stop losses in unless we get our move. If we get another couple of, we just had a little bit of a move higher here. If we get 2 or 3 of those more impulses to the upside, we'll be done. We'll make our money and we'll be done with the trade. But if that does not happen, I'll have to manage the trade and bring in some stop losses, and I'll show you how to do that. Because basically, if we're going to trade the position that way, we have to leave it alone for the rest of the day because we're not going to be in the webinar. So I'll teach you how to package up the trade so it can still do its thing, but you can still carry out the rest of the day. Like if you have to run an errand, or if you're like, hey, I can only be there for the beginning of the hour, that's fine. I'll teach you how to do the rest. Speaking of, here we are starting to move back up. We have to take advantage of this. So since the market's moved up, I'm going to close out of just a couple of trades. You close the worst price trades first and leave the rest. Okay, this is good. Okay, I'm going to close out of a couple of these on my other account. Again, I'm closing out my worst price trades, leaving the best to ride. This is money management. Okay, so I'm going to close out 1 or 2 more worst price trades, leave the rest to ride. Okay, we might actually be done soon. This is great. Close out a few more of these. I'm going to close out of a couple of these with that most recent move. That almost did exactly what I drew here. Isn't that fun? Not as extreme, but it did do this, That's exactly what we were waiting for. Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to close out 1 more trade and then leave the rest here. The mid Bollinger Band, just so you know, on the 5-minute is right. Move this guy out of the way. Basically right here. So that's our new target now. That's where we want to go with this trade. Let's see if it'll give it to us. But this red line right here is where we want to close out of pretty much everything and just call it a day. I may leave just like 1 trade on to see if we can hit a higher target, but everything else would be ready to go at that point. We can see how fast, what was it? 5 minutes ago, you would have been like, oh my gosh, I mean, I feel it too. I'm not just saying it's you. I do it too, right? But you have to have that when you have something that's this probable and then that's this solid, and you've traded this so many times, you're not going to be as scared or timid to continue to add to the position. See, when this happens, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going against me. This is crazy town. How am I going to stay in this? Right. But again, there's no news. You're in the banker's close hour. Okay. On a pair that matches perfectly the banker's close. So feel confidence going into this fade reversal here when you see this opportunity. And again, confidence within your trading plan, which is, hey, I've got my plan up here written down for each individual pair that I trade, right? Max 40 trades, max 20 contracts, max stop loss is 40 pips on this pair. If I do that, I'm not going to risk more, because I don't risk more than 4 to 5% of my account in a single day, partly because I trade in, FTMO accounts, and most of them have that max 5% risk. And so I have to stay within that threshold. And that's why I created this, so I wouldn't blow up an account like that. But yeah, most of your money is going to be made when it looks ugliest, right? So let me delete a lot of this stuff. When it was down here, it looks scary. That's when the money's made. That's where the money's made. And it may do that again. Who knows? We still have more than 20 minutes left. Who knows? Maybe this wants to go for round two, does this again. It's going to look ugly. What's your response to that? I'm going to continue to tango, right? In my experience, I've seen on the worst days, the euro pound has fallen 40 pips from the beginning of the hour. So this would have to go all the way down to like here for it to be like, I've gone back several months, and the euro pound, assuming there's no news, without news, has gone down as far as 40 pips before it would go in your favor. Again, hence the 40 pip stop loss, that was from back testing. So anyway, that's how that works. Anyway, we'll just continue to wait. It's been slow getting there, but again, our target on this guy is basically, let's go back to that 5-minute chart. We are going to close out right there. That is where we want to go. If we hit that, solid day, guys. Solid day. But it is being a slow day, right? There's been actually several now moves to the upside and moves to the downside that we've had to work with. By the way, let me just teach you now real quick, because I know a lot of you guys are, you need to, you've got work and things to get to, but you still want to trade this. Let me show you how to, let's say you had to leave right now. If you had to leave right now, bring all your stuff, take profits to that mid Bollinger Band. So I'd go ahead and do this right now. I'm going to leave one to ride though. So I'm going to leave that one up there. Bring all your take profits to where you want to go. Then what I do is I go and set up a stop loss. And there's two options with this. You can go to maytaf.net, and then you go to Forex trading tools, Forex volatility. Okay, you click on that, and then you search the pair that you're trading right here. So euro, pound, and then you find out what is the high to low of the day volatility for that pair on that day of the week. And that's going to populate. Here it comes. So the euro pound moves 113 pips. So what I've done with a lot of you guys is you can either do a half of that, which would be actually more than the 40 pip max. So I would do what I think one of you recommended it, and it's actually not bad. Just take this full amount, 113.4, and divide it by 4, and then that's your stop loss. So 28 pips would be your max stop loss. Now you're welcome to have a tighter stop loss than that. Yeah, totally. But 28 pips would be your max stop loss. So if I come down here, how far is 28 pips from the current price? I don't know, something like this, 0.85, 718, 0.85, 700. So with that in mind, you can bring these in if you have to leave for the day. Let's see, something around here would be your max stop loss if you had to leave. And this will make it so you can still go do whatever you need to do, but still take advantage of the trade. And you can do this process the moment you take the trade. Or if you have time to manage it, like we've been doing it, that's ideal. But that you could do that. You could trade it the way I just showed you, so that you can kind of leave it on autopilot the rest of the day. You'll note that the reward to risk ratio is a little upside down. Yes, that's okay. This is kind of a moving concept. If this market comes lower down into these supports, these trades are going to have much higher reward to risk ratios because you're going to buy here. Stop loss is still here, but now your target's up here. So that's going to have a much better reward to risk ratio than, say, this trade, right? And again, if you're not this strategy, I haven't lost a trade I haven't lost the day. Yeah, we've had losing trades, but not like the actual setup hasn't lost. And 1 second, I'm going to add some more trades here, guys. Actual setup hasn't lost in over a month. Well, I know, I guess the last losing trade I had was back in it was the 13th of Thursday, the 13th of this month. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna add one more little trade. It's crazy. This guy is just dumping every time he comes up. That's fine. And that's why we try to close a couple of trades. You saw how we dumped a couple of trades up here earlier, and now we're adding again because it's come down. I referred to that as like the cleanup process. If it comes up, close out your worst price trades, leave the best trades to ride. It's that concept, right? All right, so, but yeah, now we just kind of wait again and add as it comes down, because we've got more gunpowder. We did some cleanup. And heck, if this thing punches up a lot, we might do some cleanup on this. We'll see. I'm gonna grab another little trade right there. Grab another one, grab another one. Nice, I want that. Nice, I want that. I'll take that. I'll take it. Give it to me. I'll take that. I'll take that. Let's see. I think I brought my stop loss a little too close just for that demonstration. Because again, this can go against you 40 pips in the hour. And so like I said, my max stop loss is 40. So I'm going to move these out just because that's what I showed you was how you leave the trade once you're ready to go. Once you have to leave for the day, essentially. Okay. All right, and let's see how we're looking at some of these levels on here. So we're basically at this support now. And let's see, we have a nice support right here that we could come to, and another one right here that we could come to. All right, I'm gonna add another trade or two. So ask yourself this question. So like when you look at my account, I'm down a half of a percent right now, right? Just a little more than a half of a percent. And I'm just adding a little bit more as that comes down into that support. You have to ask yourself, are you risking, are you in a spot where you're still comfortable? If you're not, then you're risking too much on each trade. And that just comes through adjustments. Like you have to go through and be like, hey, this trade went against me, 5% today. That's too much, right? So you have to go in and adjust your lot size accordingly to the account size that you have. And we're coming right into a nice support here. So I've added a couple more trades in here. And now we just kind of wait on that, right? And the new target on this is basically at where, let's see, let's take a look. Because the mid Bollinger Bands come down a little bit. So basically our worst trade, just above our worst trade would be the target for everything. So you could pull in your take profits if you wanted to. Not necessarily. I mean, we actually saved ourselves some money. So when we had this little move up earlier, we cleaned up, we did that cleanup concept, right? We closed out of like 3, 4, 5 trades. One second, I gotta respond to this. When you're in expansion mode, you got to be able to respond and add to these positions. I know it looks ugly right now, but just give it time, guys. Just hang on, just give it time. And it's not gonna at this point, we've got 9 minutes left. You're not gonna get the full move you need in the webinar. But you know, just hang on. It does play out. Fortunately, a lot of you have seen these before, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it does play out. Okay, so are we not losing money by cleaning up? Well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, because when the cleanup happened earlier, right? So when we got this move higher, we closed out of a couple of trades at at better pricing, and that really helped us on this move right here to be able to add more and feel confident doing so, right? Um, that's the concept of cleanup, right? And we'll probably do that again. Yes, I mean, ideally, you'll just hang on to everything if you can stomach it. Um, you'll just hang on to everything and ride this to its target. But it is a good idea that when profits come, that you do close out of some trades, that you manage that as it becomes available to you. And we're just waiting. I mean, this may do what it did with the Euro franc the other day. I don't know if you guys remember, but it just basically came down during the hour. On that version, it went up during the hour, and it just left us there all afternoon. We had to hang out up there. And then it wasn't until Tokyo and Sydney where we got the move we wanted. So that's why I'm saying you have to wait 6 to 12 hours for this to finally do what you need it to do sometimes. But hopefully we get some buyers in here that kind of help us out. We'll see. Um, we'll see what happens. But okay, I'm gonna add another trade right there. Grab another. I have a feeling this is gonna try to bust through this. And there's going to be a lot of liquidity right here, because there's going to be a lot of people with stop losses right in this area. So we'll see if it tries, but I would imagine it may try to do something like that. But again, got to have a small position size. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to handle something like that. This one's pushed quite a bit, to be honest. Like when we started the hour, this is already down 27 or 28 pips from where we started the hour, which is pretty significant, to be honest. But it's not anything that you wouldn't expect either, right? Like I've back tested the euro pound and the euro franc, pound franc to see how far they go without any news. We're getting pretty close to the max that this thing has gone. Um, maybe 13, 15 pips from where it's been in the past, but we're getting pretty close. Okay, guys, so I'm going to do a little wrap up here. I'm going to bring all these targets into kind of where, again, the worst price trade that we have, that's where we're going to close out of most of these trades. And feel free to do your own little cleanup if this market does kind of go in our favor this morning. In fact, let's see what happens here. This may give us something. But I'm just kind of scattering these trades in this area. That's kind of where I'm scattering a lot of these and holding a lot of these. So we're at the point where we don't add. I mean, we have a few more minutes technically where we could add to the position, but at this point, we're just kind of holding, and we're just going to let the market do its thing at this point. In terms of the stop loss, again, you can bring those in from the current price. I would probably go like, 28 pips or something like that as your max. So I'd bring a lot of these stop losses in because that's a fourth of an average daily range. You should not hit that, but if you do, you want to take that loss. Yes, it would be a large loss, but it's nothing that you can't make up through trading this for a few days, right? And we will get our move here. It's going to take a little bit of grinding, but we'll get our move. And you guys will get updates from me throughout the morning and this afternoon. If anything changes or if I'm closing out trades, you'll hear from me. In fact, since this has moved up quite a bit, I am going to do some cleanup. My best trade's up 5 pips now. And I do want to lighten this load up just a little bit before we wrap up. So I'm going to lighten this up like 4 or 5 trades. And I'm doing that on my other account too, just to give myself a little bit more, just to lighten things up a little bit. Okay, this looks good actually. I really like the way I have this set. This is actually going to be, I know it looks ugly right now. Like I was down just over 1% a second ago. Now I'm down just a 0.6 of a percent. So not even a full percent. Again, it looks ugly, but just watch us slay this later today. Like we are going to absolutely slay this trade. And yeah, you'll get my update in yeah, this can be a great trade. It's already starting to come back, but you'll get an update from me later this morning and or this afternoon, and I'll let you know how things go. But yes, yeah, it looks good. Actually, just a second ago, I was only down, there it is. I was only down less than a half of a percent. So you can see how quickly things can turn around. But again, you're only able to do this concept when you have a small enough position size for your account that you're trading. And again, I've back tested this currency pair and the others, and I know how far they go. So I know, hey, I'm down 28 pips from where we started the hour. Historically, over the last 3 or 4 months, you can go back and the worst it's gone is 40. So you're getting pretty close to a bottom when you have that in mind. So all right, guys, I'm going to leave it with like that. Let you guys just with that game plan in place, with these stop losses and targets in place, and we'll just go from there. And you'll get an update from me later. So happy Halloween, everybody, and we'll see you in the next webinar.